lyrics are perfect, I think, to show what's been happening from the very beginning. Yes, from the beginning of creation until now. It shows a mark. It shows that people that loves God wants to proclaim and wants just to do what Jesus said for them to do. And actually, that's a sacrificial thing, because who wants rejection? Who wants to feel that negativity from others if there was no a big reason behind it? No, a loving reason. Yes. So I don't understand what the Bible is doing in buildings that there are no martyrs. You don't see anybody dying for the name of Jesus today. You don't see that. You see people selling, people trying to negotiate a way, use the Bible for their survival with false teachings, a reason to maintain a building open, yes, for jobs. If that was being used in the right way, I guess we would give a lot of work, hard work for governments. Yes, it's the whole world. Doesn't matter if I stay in this country, if I go to my own country. I'll have trouble, persecution till the last day of my life. Yes, because it's a mark. So in the first one, I could, if I brought all the martyrs of the Bible, people that suffered so much, just because they did good, just because they did good, I would stay here for days talking. But I brought some examples tonight, yeah? So the first one that I think it's good to show is about Abel and Cain. It was two brothers, and was the two sons of the first two sons of Adam and Eve, yeah? And in the verse 1 of the chapter 4 in Genesis says, Adam made love to his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, with the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man. Later, she gave birth to his brother Abel. Now Abel kept flocks, and Cain worked with the soil, like agriculture man, yeah? In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. He brought some of the fruits, okay? It's just like whatever, you know. And Abel also brought an offering, fat portions of some of the firstborn of his flock. He gave some priority. He saw the Lord as a precious, you know, you can't just mess up with him. He's the Lord, he's God. And the Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering. But on Cain, his offering, he did not look at with favor. So Cain was very angry and his face was downcast. Now, is this a reason to kill somebody? Well, Cain was so angry. And some people in the world get so angry at the believer that they sometimes have no energy to go to work. But if they have to defeat a believer, they even take vitamins to get extra strength and go full power against that person. Now Cain, on the verse 8, now Cain said to his brother Abel, let's go to the field. While they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Yeah. Now another example. If you go to 1 Kings 19, there was a prophet called Elijah. Yes. And he was persecuted by a woman called Jezebel. Yes. And then on the verse 2. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah, say, may the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely. By this name tomorrow I do not make your life like that one of them. Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. The story actually, what Elijah has done. Yes, he was warning the people not to worship false gods. Okay? What is the false gods? Things that people say, don't touch that, it's my culture. It is my culture. It is my belief. It's your belief, and you use the name of the Lord when there is a burial, and you want to call a priest, you get married, you want the blessing of God. What kind of God you're calling from? You're calling to. In your spirit, you know there is a God. Now, why God used the prophets that time? To warn them against idolatry, against worshipping other gods. Yes. So God is the one to respect your culture, your choice of what. You are created by Him. He created you to worship. If you don't worship Him, you're going to worship something else. But you will worship. Now Jeremiah. Jeremiah, also a prophet God rose to tell the king of Judah that God was going to destroy the city and was going to make it desolate and end the whole thing there, because it would give them in the hands of other idol worshippers, the Babylonians. Yes. But the Babylonians didn't know God, but they did. They knew Him. And they had a lot of idols and other things that, because when you're involved in idolatry, other sins take place too. It's like a chain. For example, today you want a cigarette. Tomorrow you want to get something stronger. Yes. And it's stronger and it's stronger. So it's like a chain. You don't keep just one line of sin. You want more and more. So they were involved in adulteries. They were involved in corruption. Yes, financial corruption, cheating the people, and idolatry. So Jeremiah was arrested severely, beaten and arrested, because he opened his mouth. He couldn't keep his mouth shut. God spoke to him to tell. Yes. Daniel also in the lion's den. Yes. People was jealous of him in the kingdom because God used him and he could show wisdom. Yes, he could give wise counseling, and they were the wisers of the kingdom. They were jealous, and they made a decree, the king to sign a decree that if somebody would pray, they would know he would pray, to any god for 30 days, yes, that person would be sent to the lion's den. And he was sent to the lion's den. But God saved some and some did not. It was like martyr, yes. The friends of Daniel also, because they refused to bow to a statue that Nebuchadnezzar did, and told everybody to bow. Now, you may think, it's only to bow, and then I go home and make dinner to my kids. What is the matter? If that was today, wouldn't you bow? You need to ask that yourself. God saved the friends of Daniel. Yes, they didn't bow. And the king was furious and heat up the fire, the furnace, 7 times more. He was very, very angry with them just because who are they that they don't do what I say? So today, is there any difference? Any difference? People are not angry in governments because they are not seen as God. That offends them, that do offend them. Well, God saved the friends also. But when it came to when Jesus was born, Herod, yes, was after to kill all children from 0 until 2 years old. Yes, after Jesus, because he heard there was a king was born, that has been born. So he was jealous. Jealousy, the jealousy, okay? People want glory, yes, but do they have really any glory? No. That's a lie that Satan puts in their hearts and say, but you are great. You are big. You are mighty. He sowed those things in your heart for you to feel that jealousy. Because, in fact, you are just clay. You're clay with a breath inside. Okay, if you have any doubt, just remember what happens to a body when they die. Yes, they go back to dust, just the way in Genesis says it was to be. So he persecuted, he killed the children, yes, and Jesus said this, I want to read for you. Matthew 5, from 10 to 12. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for that is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely, for my sake. For my sake. So that happened. That has to happen. It's a mark. It's a must. A church that is not, that is wanted, or that is seen as something desirable, because in Jesus' name there is something wrong. There is some Jesus that is not really right, okay? Because the real thing causes people to be offended. Why? Whoever doesn't like what is clean, what is pure, what is lovely, what is simple, they don't belong to him. Yes, they are created by him, but they don't belong to him because they love what is dark. They love darkness. They love what is impure. Yes, they love, they want to have their own ways and be their own gods. Okay? This is a seed planted in the heart of man by Satan. Yeah. In the verse 12, he says, "Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they, the prophets, which were before you." Jesus said the prophets were persecuted. You're gonna be persecuted as I was persecuted. Isn't that a mark to the end? So it doesn't matter if they use the Bible. You don't see their suffering, their marks, their being rejected. Okay? It's false. It is false. It shouldn't be opened. There is something powerful that helped me to distinguish between the false and the truth also. It's Matthew 16:25. "For whoever wants to save their life will lose it." Okay? He's talking about eternity here. And even in this life also. Because even if you get everything that you think is good for you, but if it is against God, there is a mourning in your heart. "But whoever loses their life for me will find it." In Revelation 6, 10 to 11, it's a prophecy, something that John saw. John was the disciple that was not a martyr. He was the only one that God kept him in old life without being decapitated or strangled or, things like that. They called out in loud voice, "How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" Then each of them was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer until the full number of their fellow servants, their brothers and sisters, were killed just as they had been. Isn't that a little scary? Because you're not allowed to want what is good. You're not allowed to think the way Jesus wants you to think. You're not. And that is not in Muslim countries. That is not in Buddhist countries. It's all places, all countries. You're not welcome. You are not welcome. Okay? If you come with a Jesus there that condemns adultery, that refuse to be involved in corruption, that don't lie, that love beyond measure, that forgive the unforgiving, and do all those kinds of things that Jesus did, you're talking about religion. That's what they say, okay? It's values. It is values that do just good to your neighbor. Only good to your neighbor. Jesus' values does not hurt a neighbor. Okay? That's how he says also in Hebrews 10:38. Now the just shall live by faith. Wow. You're gonna take your daily bread by faith. Why? Because he knows you're gonna be rejected. He knows you're not gonna be the favorite. But if any man draw back, my soul has no pleasure in him. Now, there is also a man I want to just talk about, is Paul. Yes, the Apostle Paul. And before he was a persecutor, and he became the persecuted. So how a man like Paul instructed well, he was, I think he was monetarily rich in that time. He had he had everything to have the good life that you think that is a good life here. Because he persecuted the disciples of Jesus. Yes? But when Jesus revealed himself to him, he could no longer persecute him. He could no longer be against. He was called to proclaim, to tell people like me and you that are Gentiles. Yes, Gentiles, everybody that is not a Jew. And for this reason, he also were imprisoned many times. Imprisoned many times. Or beaten also, you know. The Bible doesn't say how he died, but it was because of God. Okay? A true believer dies, suffers because of God. Yeah? But in all this, it's the good thing is to know that that's a big sign that is the truth. Because it is too little what they do, all of them, to deserve death and to deserve cruel, high sentences that should be designated only for criminals. Only for criminals. You know, I lost many things in my life, physically, because of God. Because I don't sell, I don't negotiate, and I do not trade truth. I do not compromise. I want to know more of truth, more things, so I can find out if I'm in God's will, if I'm doing what pleases Him. Yes. And I wake up every morning since 2022, feeling like I missed a leg or an arm because my children is not with me. Yes. And some people that were involved in taking them away from me, I believe they were ignorant only. Yes, it was only ignorance. And they are forgiven. Forgiven, and I believe God is working their hearts towards this. Yes. But some are not innocent. Some did the evil to me to make me lose what is eternal. Yes. It's something that make them to oppress me, trying to force me to put down. For example, if I just lied, if I just involved my kids in idolatry, yes, to make part of something that they call it culture, but it's something against God. If I did that, I was not persecuted, and they were with me. Yes. But because of that, persecution arose against me since 2018. 2018, but it was in 2022 that some enemies gathered together, and they made schemes and played lies because I defended some things in the Bible, all things in the Bible. It talks about children, it talks about discipline, and that goes against the system made by men. Okay? Is that not persecution? Because if you don't see that child sad, if you don't see evidences of violence or something like this, you don't see that. How can you call it violence? You don't even consider what the book that is in the church here says. It's not open, it's not given, okay? So it is not persecution. I don't know if I will be like the friends of Daniel, if God will truly save them from that. I don't know, but I made my decision. I made my decision that God is more important than my own kids. And my kids are lovely, you know, they are funny, they are sweet. They have their moments of disobedience, but it's something that God will give me a wisdom to deal with them. Yes? But I already put on the table and say, Lord, you do it as you wish. Yes? But your name, I will never put down. I will never put down. So nobody came and took my head off, a limb from me, but I feel like it. I feel like that, yes. But doesn't matter, I still speak like this. Feeling no arm, no leg, doesn't matter. I still talk what he puts in my heart to talk. You know, every time I make a video, I think it will be the last one, because I don't plan to continue. I just like to come and say and to show something that was placed in my heart to share. Yes? So there's no plan, never. Never a plan. So I want to tell you this, that there is no serving God without being persecuted. No serving God without being rejected. Jesus said, if I was persecuted and rejected, you also gonna be. Because are you bigger than your master? You are more special than your master? So then has to be there, okay? That Christianity that has their mouth shut in respect to your religion, in respect to your culture, without telling you the truth, that's not the real thing, okay? From the beginning to the end, that is martyr. That is martyr, and I'm telling you the truth. Please don't subscribe. Don't put like. I don't need this. These videos are not for sale. I'm not getting anything. And that is a mark also. I don't need financial support to open my mouth and speak. God gave me the cords, he gave me the tongue, he gave me the mouth, he gave me the body, so I will use for him. Why do I need financial thing to tell you the truth? Yes, he supplies me. He supplies me, okay? It's not for sale, not for sale. He is gratis, okay? No, don't put like, don't subscribe. Just